Let's start. So, if you're here for the very first time and you don't know me, my name is Femke Bakker. So, I'm one of the meditation teachers here on Insight Timer. I also work as a behavioral researcher in political psychology in Leiden University in the Netherlands. I'm Dutch, as you might hear from my accent. But I think mainly what I'm doing here on Insight Timer more and more is that I'm a teacher of self-gentleness. And self-gentleness is a concept that I developed over the last years. At first, mainly to help myself, because I'm a previous perfectionist. I'm someone who used to be really, really tough on myself, was expecting a lot of myself, due to all kind of circumstances. In April of this year, I had a TEDx talk, which you can find on YouTube if you like, where you can listen to my personal story, how I got to become more and more self-gentle, but especially also how this is a lifelong work in progress process to be self-gentle. It's not like a diploma or a degree that you will get and then from then on you're self-gentle. No, it's something that it's a journey. And the more self-gentle you become for yourself, the more easy it becomes, but sometimes it still remains a struggle. For instance, like I said, you can become self-gentle when it's just you and yourself, your own thoughts about you, practices that you do, routines that you can build to help yourself. But then in face of others, your relationships, and that can be your romantic relationship with your spouses, partners, but it can also be your kids, your friends, your bosses, or your employees, your colleagues, your society. Basically, any interaction with another is a relationship. And some of those relationships are way more dear to us or more important to us than others. So you know which relationship you want to work with. Could be your spouse, could be your kid, could be your uncle, could be your friend, could be your boss. So, because whatever I'm going to tell you, it's basically the rules are the same, or not the rules, the guidelines are the same. So let me start first to explain you what self-gentleness is, in case you don't know that yet. So this is my definition. It is radically accepting yourself as the most important person to consistently deserve your own gentleness. Let me say that again. Radically accepting yourself as the most important person to consistently deserve your own gentleness. So yeah, anyone can be gentle to themselves, right? If I'm asking you, remember last time you were gentle to yourself, you can probably remember that moment. And very often those moments are when we are proud of ourselves, when we think, "Woo, we really hit it off. Oh, I did well." And then you you reward yourself, you're kind to yourself, you give yourself compliments. So that is good. That's perfect. But can you also radically do that? I mean, always. Like even when you fail, even when you do something really, really wrong, that you can still tell yourself, well, it's kind of a bummer, but I tried. I did my best. Maybe next time better, or the time after, or the time after. Maybe I will never get this done, but does that mean that I'm not worthy? No, it's okay, right? That's pretty radical. When we are gentle with ourselves, when we do stuff wrong, when we fall and we trip, when we make mistakes, when we forget something, when we oversleep, when we make a fight, all those moments, that's kind of radical. And consistently is like always. And I think this is what I want to get to today when it's about relationship. With the consistent, I mean also when others are asking you to be gentle for them, even though you don't have it in you right now, to grant that gentleness towards them because it goes against your own needs, your own feelings, your own energy. And that is exactly where we trip, because saying no to people that are not so important to us, it's often not so difficult. But to the people that we love, that are important for us, that we want them to be gentle with us as well. That's sometimes pretty hard. And there is where we sometimes lose track of that self-gentleness and we become rather gentle to others instead of being to ourselves. However, the best reason why self-gentleness in relationships, and again, this is any relationship, is so important is because if you go over your own boundaries or your own needs or your own energy, or you're just, because you're tired or whatever, to be gentle to another, and they basically you cut your own needs loose, you go over your boundaries, then in the end you will not be so gentle towards these people, especially when it builds up, when you again and again and again forget about your own gentleness in order to give your loved ones, whoever this is, or your boss, this relationship, whatever they need. There comes a moment that it is enough for you. And at that point, you will not be able to be gentle, not with yourself and not with them. And a clash will be there, or a fight, or you maybe keep it in because you're someone who doesn't like to fight. And then the resentment builds up and then you lose a lot of the connection with the other. This is also not the way. So, and we understand this, right? When I'm telling you this, you know this. Yeah, I know that I should honor who I am also vis-a-vis the other. But that's sometimes really hard, and I again step in it, and especially when others are putting pressure on me or actively asking me to change whatever I want to do or change myself or adapt for them. That is where we trip up. So self-gentleness is key here. And it starts really with becoming self-gentle with yourself. That's really step one. But I can understand when you're in the middle of when you are already in a relationship where you understand that you need to take more care of yourself and others are used to that, it's really hard to make that next step and becoming more self-gentle. So there are steps we can take in that. Before I get there, I just want to take a look at the comments here because I think there might be some other thing that I can get into the story. Let me just see. This I read already. Lizzie says, hi Lizzie. Just came home from caring for my mother-in-law and see that she has a senior health crisis. But she refuses medical care for religious reasons. All happened just now and I am distressed. That's a really clear example. You want to take care of someone who has a crisis. You want to take care of them. But basically, they have some resistance to the available help that is there, which is fine. This is their resistance, her resistance in this case. But it puts a burden on you that you feel that it is really hard to deal with. You are distressed. You want to help her, but the ways you see you can help her are not there. So that is really, really hard. In this case, this is a place where it's important to first come to yourself and start to understand. So these are her circumstances. This is the way she wants to deal with it. What part can and do I want to play in this? So if her refusing to take medicines puts a specific burden on you, for instance, I don't know exactly what the case is. So I don't know, for instance, actually, that it's important that you feel what is it that I can do and what is it that I don't want to do or I cannot do. And then to be really clear and straightforward about that. And I know that is difficult because you sometimes can know what you don't want, but to actually communicate to the other in a way where you're not defensive, in a way where the other can understand or at least respect your decision, that is not so easy. But it has a lot to do with being kind to yourself, being gentle to yourself, and accepting that it is okay to want to do things differently than the other.